Tomorrowland and Absolute share a vision of a more equal and diverse tomorrow, actively pursued through their co-created platform United We Dance and its Diversity and Inclusion Committee. This year, they have united to strengthen human connection and promote cross-cultural exchange globally to help combat loneliness. Welcome to the United We Dance podcast. My name is Camille Polly. Over the next 6 episodes, we'll invite you to get to know some of the many Tomorrowland artists on a more personal level.
He's a Dutch DJ that plays house music. He's married to a famous fashion model.
He plays Afro, house.
Part of a DJ duo, right? With his best friend?
It's always heartwarming to hear the people of tomorrow talk about their favorite artists, isn't it? I have to say, welcome, Sunnery James.
Thank you for having me, Camilla.
How do you feel about Tomorrowland this summer?
I'm very excited. Most of all because we're gonna host our stage on the Planexus Amazon project, bringing it back after several years. So very excited about that weekend, and of course the second weekend main stage. Excited to play a lot of new music we're gonna release. So it's always waiting on a reaction of the crowd, of the fans, how they react to the new music. So it's very exciting.
You know, you're going to be there at the Planexus stage. You have fans in front of you. How do you stay connected with those fans?
I think in a very natural way. I mean, we had a time where we would start. If you take it to social media, there was the time when every show you would start showing pictures of how many people have their hands in the air and how good you are on stage. And at a certain point a few years ago, I was like, yo, there's another way to connect with your fans. So we try to be very personal online, especially on the individual accounts, like the SJRM account on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all those platforms. We have people working on it. Of course, we're involved, but on the individual side, with my own account and Ryan's own account, we try to keep it very personal, sharing vibes of family, but also just personal things, cooking, like walking the dog, and the interactions with the fans are even more crazy than showing pictures about how good you are on stage and how many people are in front of you. So in that way, even sharing new music it's like very personal, not in the setting on stage, but just me cooking eggs in the kitchen and playing a new song in the background. That's how I want to connect with the fans. Very personal. On a human level, yeah, because everything is so saturated already. You know, it's so not fake, but it's all set up. It's like almost how you say that, like a setting constantly. So I feel like to connect with your fans, you should approach it more on a personal level.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Talking about personal, is there a personal story that you can share? Because you guys travel all over the world, you meet people from all different countries, different cultures. Can you share a personal story where connecting with someone from a different culture profoundly impacted your life or your perspective?
Yeah, that was, to be honest, I remember this. It was in the very early stage of like when we start blowing up internationally. We went to South America, I think it was Mexico, and it was like 4 guys. They came up to us, and one was all tatted up with like songs and our names on their bodies, and they explained the story of like how much our music saved their lives in a way that I could even imagine. Even it was hard to comprehend, even like, how is this possible that we're just 2 normal kids from Amsterdam making music, and we got such a big impact on people like thousands of miles away on the other side of the world, and they start crying and told their story about why they're still alive, and we were part of that story, and that was also more like a realization for myself, like, okay, we do this thing we see as our passion change people's lives. So we took a little bit of more responsibility in connecting with our fans, how we react on our fans, and also pay more attention on some fans, like how they approach our music. So then we start realizing it's fun what we're doing, but we also have a little bit of responsibility. I think Ryan and I, the power of ourselves is that we don't never take ourselves too serious in a way that, oh, it's about us, you know? I think we always had the realization that it's about all of us. We're in this together. And Tomorrowland was also always a great metaphor for us to play there in that big valley and understand that we are just part of this whole thing. So it's not about us. I mean, I sense sometimes that some artists, they think they go on stage on Tomorrowland and playing on that main stage and it's all about them. Like, oh, look at me. I'm here. I'm standing in this valley. They all came from me. No, we're part of celebrating that energy we're creating in that valley. And that's how we approach our DJ career, actually. We're just a little tool in that whole, I said it, how we create this energy bomb together. And that's actually the metaphor for approaching everything, like with our fans, with our music, how the perception of how we look at a dance scene. And I think that's the reason why Ryan and I still enjoying what we're doing. So to answer your question, in a way, is that it's not about us. It's about what we provide together, you know?
Would you describe you and, your and Ryan's fans as being a sort of community?
Yes. I think the whole dance scene is a community in a certain way. And we all provide our little piece in energy. And everybody makes sense. Like everybody, like the production guy, the MCs, the people on the toilet. I mean, everybody has their part, and that's how I see it always.
And what is your, like, how what's next to the music, what's your part in that community?
I think our energy, Ryan and I, we just enjoy every part of this industry, and no matter where we are, even with this, I mean, I think you should give your all with everything. So where are we? How do I see myself in this scene? I'm a lover of dance music, and I have the privilege to be in the center of it and have a responsibility to connect people in a positive way. And I think Ryan and I, we always try to connect. And in this world now where there's a lot of polarization, there's a big challenge for us, like opportunity even, to make people realize that we are one, that no matter what political situation we're in, what's your religion, at the end of the day, the sound of music, the energy of music would make you realize as a human being that we all in this together, and we can't agree to disagree is something I want to achieve in this world. That, like, you don't have to agree on certain stuff, but at the end of the day, you can love each other because we're all human beings, we're all family. And maybe it's a little romantic what we try to achieve here, but that's something I'm dreaming of. That at the end of the day, like, you don't have to agree on the same food. I mean, but at the end of the day, we breathe the same oxygen. We need to eat. We have the same kind of basics, and if we can love each other because of that, it would be amazing.
Yeah, it's all about the kind of, the human connection. People would say it's like here in Belgium, they would say it's a little bit wishy-washy, but it's that's what it's about.
Of course, if you just like imagine, if you just like delete everything around us, like clothing, cars, houses, you have nothing, only nature, and trees, and we're not gonna have any. I mean, jealousy is gonna be less, I think. It's gonna be more about what are we gonna eat? What are we gonna... You're gonna laugh with each other. You're gonna create stuff together. Now we have so much distractions that we get, like, I think, focused on the wrong things. And I try to push myself in a way that because I love beautiful clothing. I love all those kind of stuff. But I feel like the last couple of years is like, okay, that's a lot of distraction, and it like, it's polarizing, like,
yeah.
It doesn't really feed connection. It's all about more. And I feel like that's why I love Tomorrowland. That energy what Tomorrowland has it's about the moment. It's about sharing real energy and passion together. Very romantic. I know it's very far from where we are now in the world, but I still dreaming about it. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's our
it's
part.
a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's our part in the dance scene. Try to, and not to make it too unrealistic, but for me, it's a very realistic thing to achieve.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about that connection. We'll dive into it a little bit further in the next couple of minutes about connecting with other artists. I think Tomorrowland is a good place where there's a lot of like interaction amongst artists throughout the summer. At Tomorrowland Winter, it's the same. You meet each other. Maybe diving into your role models a little bit at first. Who were your role models starting out as a DJ, as a producer?
My mom and dad showed me on a very early stage that everything in this world is achievable. Everything is possible. So those two are my role models for sure. But in an artist way, when I start DJing, of course, there were like a lot of artists out there. You had Chesto, Pete Tong, you had like Cole Cox, Frankie Knuckles, the Masters at Work. And that's where when I heard Louis Vega and Kenny Dope, those guys playing the drums and all those mixes they did, I like, what is this? Is this dance? And I start buying records, vinyls, back in the days, big vinyls. Start collecting dance music at a very young age, actually. I think I was 9, 10 years old. And then my dad gave me this thing from Earth, Wind and Fire. And that blew my mind, because this was a sort of like crossover between disco and pop. And then I started looking at producers and find more records. And then Mr. Eric Morillo came by. I saw a DJ set of that guy. And I think this is what I want to do in life. This guy is crazy. What is he doing with all those filters? And he took it to a whole next level with mixing soul and dance, and start following him. And then I found out about Dennis Ferrer, all those amazing kind of artists, DJs, and Swedish House Mafia back then. Steve Angelo brought dance to a level where I thought, this is what I want to do. Like a lot of groovy bass lines, hard drops, and still groovy and still danceable. And that all together inspired me to where we are now. I mean, I never really copied anyone, but we created something that we liked in an authentic way, but really got influenced by all those names I just summed up. And I don't have to forget Eric E. and DJ Roog in Holland, Housequake. They had amazing parties, and the energy they brought to stage inspired me. It inspired me a lot. Yeah.
So it's something that we're always after as radio hosts, and that we notice that the people of tomorrow are really, keen to find out, is whether you have any advice that someone shared with you that really stuck with you. It can be from someone within the industry or beyond, that that really stuck with you and that you take to heart whenever in life, and that really maybe changed you. Is there something that you want to share today?
Now we go back to God rest his soul, Eric Morillo, and also Chesto. Basically, they both said the same thing at a different time. And that's something we also realized in a very early stage in our career. But we took that advice, of course, very serious. That be as authentic as you can as an artist. And that comes back on your personality. You can, for example, you can play a song, what's a hit, right? So you can't really ignore a hit. But if that hit is not touching you, or if you don't feel like playing it, don't do it. Because at the end of the day, music is energy. So at the end of the day, people will feel if you're feeling that track in your heart, or if you're just playing it out because it's a hit. And sometimes, and the funny thing is, you can comprehend that, you can understand that, but you have to experience it during your career. Because of course, sometimes you played a big track because you can't ignore this track. This is something you have to play out now. Everybody's playing it. But then you look at yourself back and you watch your set on YouTube or like somewhere else, and you see in your whole body language, like, okay, just playing this track because you think people want to hear this. And I realized, and if the people, they really appreciate it when you play with your heart and believe in what you play. And during the years, I found out that piece of advice was something that, that's the reason we're still here, I think.
It's a great piece of advice.
Yeah.
And I think that the probably like what I think is quite unique in Tomorrowland is the vibe amongst the different artists. I always see this as some kind of exchange happening, whether it's in our One World Radio studio, whether it's, you know, in the backstage. To you, what is the value of those kind of backstage areas like the ones at Tomorrowland?
The perception of the fans and people outside of this scene, while they think, oh, those DJs, they see each other every week and on every festival, but most of the time it's just hi bye, and you just play. Sometimes you have time to do a little drink together and then you move on. So you never have the time to really get in a conversation and talk about where the music is going or what's happening in your personal life. And at those festivals where they create this how you say that, like atmosphere backstage where you can chill, where you can have a barbecue, and it's very important for artists to connect in a different way, not only talking about music, talking about life. And what Tomorrowland is creating backstage is something like a gathering for artists, you know? So you speak about everything, like politics, food, families. I mean, some of us, we have kids now. Like, how do you do that now? And so you feel like this bonding again. You don't only talk about music, but just also talk about what moves you lately, what's bothering you lately. And they give you more time to connect. And I think that's something they do really, really well. And I feel like in this industry, this happens too less, to be honest. I mean, and that's why I think Tomorrowland is one of the festivals where artists and fans, they connect differently with each other, because we feel like free, and it's a place where you can connect differently.
Yeah, it's a place that not only fosters the bond between the DJ and the community of people coming to listen, but it's also fostering the community of DJs amongst each other, I think.
Exactly.
By kind of helping, enabling that in the backstage area.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why I've heard in the last couple of years, I've heard a lot of people saying, oh yeah, so we met at Tomorrowland and then we just kept on chatting throughout the year, and then this collaboration kind of appeared.
A lot of collaborations are happening.
Yeah. Do you have any examples?
So yeah, we did a collaboration with Armin, I think 6-7 years ago, and it was just out of a joke. I mean, Armin is one of our guys. We signed with his label Armada. He's one of the legends in the scene, and for us to do a collaboration with Armin was very special, because how authentic is this, Southern Orion? You're not even close to trance music. But for me, it was more like because it's so out of the box that it was special. So that track came together like, okay, you know, we're going to make a track for Armin, and Armin is going to make a track for us. So the beats underneath, the drummy beats, was made by Armin, and the melody basically came from our side. And that was something so special to do. I was a little shocked about the outcome, because it really blew up, that track. And all of a sudden we got new names, like these guys are playing funky trance. So that made like, gave us a whole new dimension. And to be honest, it was very tough, because at a certain point this track was so big in our sets that it almost overshadowed our whole Sunray and Ryan thing. But that was good. I mean, it was a great thing to do. But that's what I come back to, like these kind of collaborations, they start at events like that, you know, like where you vibe together, and it's about more on a human kind of level you connect, instead of looking at what sound someone is playing. And Armin and I, on a human level, on a personal level, we like really connecting. So it made sense to do something together. Yeah, even though we got a lot of backlash, like how do you make a collaboration with Armin? It's not even close to your sound. But this happens when you connect on a different level on a festival like Tomorrowland. You hang out, you speak about life, and then you see how many things you have in common. And why not making a track together then? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great
Yeah.
it's a great example of kind of having these valuable human connections at a festival like Tomorrowland and taking it further and making it into something professional as well.
Exactly.
It's amazing to hear, and it's we can always easily find out whichever song by a DJ is very popular in terms of numbers. But I think we're gonna dive into the ones that are that listeners actually feel a personal connection to. Is there any song that you think your community or your fans have a very special connection to? Every time you play it, there's a sort of reaction that you kind of anticipate already because it vibes really well with them?
100%. We made a track called Coffee Shop, and has nothing to do with that we come from Amsterdam, but but let me tell you the story. So we're in LA working on this mini album, and it was just a crazy idea of me, Ryan, and our engineer Jess. We wanted to just do a mini album, kind of movie kind of thing called Effective, and we had a lot of beats laying down. Our publisher made some great connection with songwriters in LA, and we had this appointment with this guy called I forgot his name now. That's great. Kes. Sorry, Kes. Amazing songwriter, signed to Rock Nation. Worked with the biggest artists like Beyonce, Jay-Z, everyone. And we were waiting for this guy. We had an appointment at 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. Where are you? I'm on my way. 4:30.
I can see it coming. I can see the track coming now.
we got all so annoyed. And then he showed up. At 7 p.m. he showed up. Totally, he was in a coffee shop probably. I don't know where he was. And he was in traffic, and he was like, and we were like very annoyed that we just put the beat on. And like, yo, you do whatever you need to do. We're waiting for you for like 8 hours. And I said, listen, can you turn off all the lights? I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? And he said, I studied you guys, and I think I know exactly what to make for you. So he starts singing. And we were like blown away. I'm like, and he took the whole thing, and I think in 10 minutes, everything was on set. And he said, see you later, guys. And we were like blown away. And basically, we just put the vocals he did on the beat, and the track was there. And that track organically went crazy. And still, when we play it, like in front of like 520,000, it goes off. And I think that's a track what's so authentic, and it translates who we are in such an amazing way that it resonates with our fans. And still, from now on, the track is I think 7-8 years old, but it's still one of our biggest tracks in our sets. If we don't play it in our DJ set, we have problems online. We get hate comments and like, oh, we only bought a ticket to that track in the set.
Play that. You've once said that Generation Z are the lonely generation. You can be in a crowd of thousands of people, but still feel very lonely and isolated because you're not connected. So that connection is very important. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what that means to you?
I don't want to really generalize that Gen Z is lonely, but I sense in a way that that generations, they are facing a lot of pressure, you know, we're living in a world where you have to speak out. There's a certain, expectation about how you should look at things with inclusivity and woke. It's like, it's an interesting world right now. And even if you don't speak out, people are forcing you. If you don't want to speak out, you get judged. So I feel like for the generation, there's a lot of things they should, they have to, tick the box to be accepted. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. And that could be very challenging, and also loneliness could be there, because if you don't speak out, if you don't want to choose a side, you get like isolated, you know? So as an artist, I feel the responsibility to connect and don't judge and don't say like, oh, you didn't speak out about racism, so you're racist. That's how it looks like. If I say I love lemons, there's a possibility that the apple lover said, "Oh, so you love lemons, so you hate apples." You know, that's the kind of the thing I'm facing, and that I think is one of the reasons where loneliness shows up. Because if you don't feel like speaking out, or like you don't feel heard about a sort of topic you want to share, like genuinely, you get like judged. And I think that's one of the main problems we're facing right now. And how are we gonna cope with that? How are we reacting on this new movement? And that's even for me a question. Is if I hear myself speaking, it's like thinking out loud as well. Like, how are we gonna achieve a sort of atmosphere where we can be accepted without speaking out or choosing a side? You know what I mean? It's hard to really explain and point it out, but hopefully you can hear in where I want to go with this. It's like an open conversation where it should be safe to speak out or not speak out.
You know, I don't think it's much talked about amongst artists. Why do you think that this is the case?
Well, there are several reasons, I think, but the main reason is like we love each other as artists always, but it's also this competition thing in it. So if you show weakness or like you're doubting about stuff, that shows like, oh, he's not really there or she's not really there. And so you always try to protect yourself in a way that people around you don't think you're going through a hard time or you're like doubting. I think that's one of the things why artists are not really talking about their feelings, because it could be, vulnerability means like, oh, he's weak, he's not really there, and then all of a sudden people start talking about it. It's a small world in the dance scene, you know, so everybody speaks. I think for a point of view, it's very empowering to share like insecurities and things you're dealing with. I think as an artist, even it inspires you and gives you a sort of power if you can share that, you know. Thank God nowadays we have more, since COVID actually, we have more like connection on that level, on groups apps, in a big app with artists, DJs, and we're speaking about all kind of things, you know, traumas, experience we had, we dealt with, we never spoke about, now we're sharing it in groups apps. So that helps, and you can see that also music-wise, a lot has changed then, because I think before COVID it was not bad, but the music was more like, okay, this works, we're gonna stay in this lane. And after COVID, you saw all those artists start making like music with the heart again, like great bass lines, authentic arrangements. You had a lot of more creativity, so that came back, and there's more space for that, even more acceptance.
Yeah, maybe also because it was made from sort of like vulnerable place, because everyone was in lockdown and going either facing stuff that they were kind of running away from. I think that's
exactly.
For a lot of people the case, but also kind of taking the time to connect with yourself again.
Exactly. You had to. The only place you could tap in is in yourself. And I think that's a great development with with how we interact as artists, you know. And I'm empowering that. I'm one of the guys who always try to go a little bit more deep in conversations, and I think it's important even for like your mental health as a DJ, you know.
We received some questions from fans from, you know, all over the world via our inbox. And I was wondering if you could answer this one from Jorge from Mexico. He wanted to know, when did you feel a really good connection with someone that you would never have expected to have that connection with before?
Let me think. I think it wasn't even in the dance scene. It was when I was playing football on a quite high level, and it was this coach always. I was looking at him, and I was already scared just looking at him. I'm like, wow, this guy is crazy. If I get this coach one time, I'm gonna die.
I think we all know that kind of person in our life.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I was playing a selection game, and he was the coach. So I think weeks in advance to that tournament, we should play together with him. And we had like this first training sessions. I was sick in my stomach. I'm like, I'm scared for this guy. How do I gonna cope with it? And turned out this guy gave me the warmest feeling. He was the best guy I ever met in my whole football career. And I still in touch with him, to be honest. We're still talking. And was one of the best human beings I met in my life. So probably it was on a deeper level. I felt this guy was looking like through me in a way that I don't have to act like someone else. He was looking right through me and approached me in a way that felt unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's all about, it brings us back to, you'd have to know people's story, and people may look very angry, but they aren't always if you talk to them. So thank you for contributing, Jorge from Mexico, with that question.
to give it more perspective, and that's also a metaphor for like how nowadays, how you can look at things because of your own mindset, because how you got wired during the years, through stuff, how you look at things. Give it a chance. You can judge easily. Oh, that's not for me. Oh, no, I'm not like that. Oh, that person, this. No, it's not for me. He said this one time, and I hate him for that. No, try to be open. Try to be always be in the moment and give it a chance. You never know. And if you disagree, you disagree, but don't let hate get in your heart because you don't agree with someone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's very human to kind of look for connections, finding connections. But it's also very human to lose connection at some point in your life. What do you do when you feel like you kind of lost the connection to what you do, or you're feeling lonely, or you're feeling down? What helps you to kind of tap into yourself and find that connection again, or find a way to get that connection again?
I mean, at a very young age, that's what I said at the beginning. My mom and dad are very important for me. At a very young age, they brought me and teach me meditation. I was 7 years old, I think, when I got my first session and got my transcendental meditation sessions. And in the very beginning, I thought it was the most stupid thing in the world to sit on a chair and try to focus on a mantra and doing nothing. You just, as a kid, you just want to run around and play. And but they, in a very like playing way, they teach me that technique. Not my parents, of course. Someone who was like, was teaching that. And I was doing this from that age every week, and then I got into it and I played with it, and it was my little space. Then I was like enjoying it more and more, and came to a point where I was really benefiting about it with football, like getting like when I got anxious about stuff, it brought me back to my inner self, got me a lot of boost of confidence. And then as a teenager, of course, I knew it all better. And I was more against like, oh, I don't need that bullshit meditation again. Bro, am I dead? Oh, you No, I don't need that meditation. What do you think? I got this. Till I got like, I mean, you get older, you get more responsibilities. You get like a lot of, you're becoming a father. And I start picking it up again after I got almost like overworked. Not like a real burnout, but I felt like this is too much, and I picked it up again. And I must say it helps me a lot. It's very logical even. I mean, meditation is something we can all do, but you need to find the time and the dedication to do it. It's a 20-minute thing. You sit down and focus and try to be in the moment, and forget all the bullshit, what's projecting on you. Forget about it, and be you and what's working for me. Hear your heart bounce in your body, feel your body, and be in the moment. And that helps me a lot if it becomes too much and I lose connection and don't feel it anymore. It's all basically what meditation does. Is like all the distractions you get, it puts it in perspective. So when it becomes messy, meditation makes it very clear again. oh, that's important, that's not important, you know?
Would it be a good advice? Is that your best piece of advice that you would give people that are struggling to find a meaningful connection in their life? Is like finding a way to get very close to yourself in order to then see how you can find a connection with others?
Yeah, exactly. Like meditation works for me, and it could be something for someone else. Reading a book, go for a long swim, sporting. I mean, this works for me, but I think it's very important to go back and really think about this energy field, you know, your own energy field, and what's important for me, without any pressure from outside, and how you deal with expectations. You know, the expectations often comes from yourself. You know, it's not even from someone else; it comes from yourself, and how much pressure are you giving yourself? And there's these are things I'm always questioning myself when it becomes a little messy and a little stressful in life. I always try to break it down to a point. Okay, summary. What do you really want? What is it that you stressing about? And then you find out it's most of the time it's a lot of pressure you put on yourself. If your mindset, your mental health, and it feels safe to talk about your insecurities and also your challenges you're facing, I think that's very empowering, and I think we should push that. So conversations like this, hopefully, I mean, people don't have to agree with what I said or whatever, but hopefully it inspires them to also go and look inside themselves instead of like trying to fulfill expectations from outside. I think that's one of the things we are dealing with right now. We're at social media, that we all try to fulfill on expectations, and that costs a lot of energy, I think. So sometimes you should try to fulfill your own expectations from what you expect from yourself. And platforms like these, like WhatsApp groups, where we can open up this kind of conversations and that mindset, it's amazing. I think I think for the dance scene, it's very crucial that we start open up and be more vulnerable.
Thank you so much for opening up in the last time, in the last couple of minutes. Thank you so much for this experience, for opening up, sharing your story, and thank you guys for listening at home. Please stay connected and visit our website unitedwedance.tomorrowland.com to hear more podcasts and read more about our United We Dance program.